Good evening. We'll now call this meeting to order. We apologize that we're about 30 minutes behind schedule. We had prior business to take care of in our meeting prior to this one, so I want to welcome everybody here. If you would, please silence your mobile devices. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Brandon Pittman sitting in the back if he would lead us in our invocation.
Yes, sir. Our Heavenly Father, as we bow before you this evening, we do thank you for this day you've given us. And for the opportunity to come and together, and Father, what this commission board and county management has done and is doing for our county, the work and the time, the sacrifices they put in. And especially over the past 11 months, the challenges that have been faced was and nothing that anyone had ever expected or could have predicted. And tonight, as we hear some of the reports of the impacts and the progress that's being made, we're grateful to you for the grace and the strength that you've given. And we continue to ask for your strength as we continue to rebuild. And Father, I ask you just guide this board as they conduct the business of this county. Lord, just continue to watch over us. These things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Or if you'd lead us in ways.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, if you can make yourself aware of the ethics awareness and conflict of interest reminder. If any board member has a conflict, please let it be known now. Okay, if not, we'll move on. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda tonight?
And then I'd like to make a motion to add a surplus for the 2018 Grand Caravan to items for discussion under item 12G.
Are there any others that needed to be added? With that change, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? So moved. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Okay. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes. I'm gonna try to do these two at a time instead of four at a time, so I'll need a motion for the August 4th, 2025 regular session minutes and the August 4th, 2025 closed session minutes. I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And then I'll also need a motion for the August 19th, 2025 regular session minutes and August 19th, 2025 closed session minutes.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Lee. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Do we have anybody here tonight for public comment? Okay, if not, I'll need a motion for a public hearing. The public hearing is number 5311, Community Transportation Program application to be submitted to North Carolina DOT. Do I have a motion for public hearing?
Make a motion.
Second. Okay, we are now in public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in public hearing? If not, do I have a motion? We go out of the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Reports and presentations. Tax collector.
This Friday, where's? Don't have much to report tonight for you. You saw your report for August 25, this is the 24 tax collections and prior. So it's $26,149. And there are it's zero goose eggs for 25s. Because you know they're not sent out yet.
Yeah.
So you have a 97.86%. I'm still continuing to watch that in the 24s.
And I'm assuming, stupid question here,
When
people can't come in and pay
That's
their
what-
2024s.
25s, yes,
Yeah.
prepaid.
Mhm.
Yes, and they're in the process this week.
Being ready.
Yeah, there's some, Blair's working on a very large map edit. Huge, so they get that finished, then they go to the printers and the vendors and out.
And I'm sure with everything that, happened during the storm, this has been a
Yes,
unprecedented year trying to get
yes.
these things figured out properly. Thank you, Ms. Jason. Okay, next up, we have, report from the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's a recovery update. You guys have come up and introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everybody. Want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. So good evening. My name is Jim Grant, currently the acting superintendent for Blue Ridge Parkway. Filling in right now for Tracy Swartout, who's on assignment. She comes back in mid-October. When I'm not the superintendent of Blue Ridge Parkway, I'm chief of maintenance engineering for the Blue Ridge Parkway and also overseeing Hurricane Helene recovery work on the parkway.
And we're gonna tag team this update. We'll try to get it in about 10 minutes and then hopefully have some time if you appropriate for any questions or discussion. Questions that you have of us. My name is Lisa Brandon and I serve as the Parks External Affairs Specialist. And as part of that role, provide a lot of coordination to a lot of our external work, park public affairs, partnerships, and other kinds of activities like that. So we're grateful this evening for the opportunity to be here with you and provide an update to the commissioners and the commission regarding the ongoing Helene recovery work as it relates to the Blue Ridge Parkway, especially regarding road access. We had the opportunity, I keep looking at Mr. Harding, we had the opportunity to be with him earlier this summer and take a look firsthand at some of the damage up in Watauga County. And it's exciting to bring this update, and I hope that you'll recognize that we're making some good progress so far, and we're looking forward to, obviously, to restoring a lot of the access here, particularly in Mitchell County. Before we get started, it's specific to the Helene. What's that not moving?
Where's the picture right there for
This photograph actually is down south of Asheville in an area that we just opened this past Friday. You might have seen some news that we opened an area near Devil's Courthouse all the way to Cherokee, and this was that the slide there around milepost 420 on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And now you might recognize that there's some brighter pavement, newer pavement, but otherwise you wouldn't really know that it looked like that a few weeks ago. So before we get into a lot of the Helene update, I think it's always important to begin with just a big picture context of kind of some of the moving parts that are going on any given day in the parkway. So this is a different kind of snapshot of the parkway than you might have expected. Lots of scenic beauty, lots of scenic overlooks, beautiful drive. But on a map, it's a 469-mile national park going through 2 states, 29 counties. And Mitchell County is certainly one of those. It's a large park, one of the largest sites in the National Park Service system, but it's definitely more than just a road. So here's some of the moving parts on any given day, any given year. A lot of infrastructure, very infrastructure heavy park. A lot of visitor services and trying to maintain mowing and facilities and water systems. It's already been mentioned, the impact from the park visitors on local tourism economies. You see down there in the bottom corner, in 2023, the economic impact to the region for the whole of the parkway was just over $1.4 billion. So there's a lot going on even before we get to Helene, and it's just helpful, I think, to step back and get a sense of what some of those moving parts are. One of the things, because it is a long linear park, and the key asset really at the end of the day is this 2-lane designed landscape motor route that perched on the side of ridges and going through farmland and all of that. So maintaining that key feature of this park is an enormous feat in and of itself, all day, every day. And so there's a few bullets on this screen just to think a little bit about what it takes to maintain the parkway before you're dealing with a bunch of landslides related to Helene. It's complex and highly technical given the geography of a lot of the park. We have long-term, decades-long partnership with the Federal Highway Administration through a program that they administer called the Federal Lands Transportation Program. And that funds and maintains road systems in national parks all over the country. You can see some of the cost of doing business annually. We get $10 to $15 million for just a normal schedule of paving, bridge, tunnel repair projects. And do that work typically in a 3 to 5 year cycle of planning, prioritization, funding, and getting the work done. This is a normal list for a normal year, except for the Helene projects, of the kinds of projects that might be going on any given area of the park. Several things in Virginia, several things in North Carolina. Right now, we've got several in the North Carolina High Country and a smaller project right now in Roanoke, Virginia. We're benefiting from legacy restoration fund dollars that came as a result of the Great American Outdoors Act. So there's a lot of moving parts related to road projects. And then there's Helene. So I hope that provides some helpful context. I'm gonna pass it to Jim now.
I will just add to that, so if we did not have Helene, this area was,
Oh, that's right.
Great American Outdoors Act, right? Where the Park Service got billions of dollars in infrastructure improvements across the country. The Blue Ridge Parkway got over 230 million out of the Great American Outdoors Act. So in a typical year, we get 10 to 15 million. The Great American Outdoors Act, we got over 230. We had a project scheduled for this area, from Little Switzerland down to Mount Mitchell, which is of course paused due to Helene, and now we're in there with slides and we're gonna put it all back together. But just to let you know, we were already planning to be up here doing work and probably giving you a very good presentation tonight on just reconstructing that road for the next 20, 30 years and, you know, keeping this gem alive. So just to go over some Helene updates for you. September 27, 2014 was something that I don't think anyone could imagine happened. Blue Ridge Parkway, along with Ural communities, was impacted beyond any recognition. We had at least 57 landslides on the parkway itself, and I'll show you the map in a minute, just kind of show you how it looks. We had damage to visitor facilities, Linville Falls for one, where an entire visitor center was lost. Campgrounds, developed areas, along with roadway construction and needs. So we had natural resource impact off the parkway. We had cultural resource impact, historic structures, your basics, your roof, your siding, just all damage. And just again, in comparison, but not to just the entire region saw that kind of devastation. And we weren't saved by it. Timeline front, this just to kind of give you an idea our progress to date. So the hurricane hit September 27, 2024. By December, we had our first construction contract awarded for what we're calling our phase one. So with the help of Federal Highway Administration and their ERFO program, to make some emergency actions, we leaped into. We had teams come in right away in October, started to assess the work and get things right out of the gate. Again, in December, we saw our first contracts awarded. The other thing I'll highlight here is on December, I want to get the name right. On December 21st, 2024, the American Relief Act was passed. That actually is our disaster supplemental to put the Blue Ridge Parkway and other National Park Service units back. So we do have the funding in hand, the National Park Service does, to work through the recovery, now what we're doing and into the future. Our first project, so we opened earlier this summer with openings to the north, as well as what Lisa referenced before. We just had a couple series of openings to South Bash. So probably the last time we spoke, we did not have all this done, right? When we were being on site. But since then, the team has sat down really looked at all the needs of the approach of how we're gonna do this. We've essentially established a three-phase approach. We're wrapping up phase one, that's all those contracts were awarded between December and February roughly this year. Phase two contracts, they were awarded earlier this summer, and all the contractors are mobilizing today in the past prior weeks. Phase two is 18 miles, that's up in the, that's what we're working on now, between Little Switch and Route 80. Phase three, that's that final 24 miles from Route 80 up to Mount Mitchell on the north side. So, but in terms of the timelines, right now, phase two projected fall 2026, and right now we're expediting phase three. We're working through that design right now, looking at a lot of different options to do that. We're also projecting that in late 2026. So, but this and all the graphics that you're seeing here, they're available on our website, and we're trying to keep everything up to date. But just as you see this, just know that we can point you in the right direction at the end of this presentation, so you can get a full list.
One thing I'd like for you to touch on,
Sure.
you know, you've pointed out all the money that's been brought down through the system.
Yes, sir.
And I know there's a lot of questions out there from people, because I hear if the money's there, why isn't the work being done? Why isn't it being expedited and pushed through quicker? And I remember the meeting that I was with you guys earlier, and it basically, you don't have enough qualified contractors. Was my understanding, because all this has to be engineered, you have to have specialties in these fields, is that correct? Would you elaborate on that?
I could, I'll start at the construction and work backwards. We'll actually talk in a second, I'll get some pictures up. But the techniques we're using to reconstruct the parkway are actually fairly straightforward. You know, they're reinforced soil slopes here, I'll see if I can, yeah, there you go. So we haven't used anything that requires specialized contractors. Essentially, we're doing earthwork and grading work. Reinforced soil slopes, they're essentially wire baskets filled with rock, lots of rock. And they're essentially building a pancake layer from the ground up. So in terms of the requirements for the work themselves, it's not some space age, new age thing. It's a fairly consistent thing. In terms of money, yes, we do have money. The phase one projects, I think we were talking earlier in the year, that was money that we received from ERFO. So at that point, ERFO money came available to us in November prior to the authorization from Congress. So that got started first. Now with the funding in hand, we've been able to put more money towards the phase two work and phase three. Phase three requires more geotechnical work just due to the amount of slides. And we're also having to work from outside grading. We can't get to all the slides at once. We have to essentially fix them in order to get to one slide to the next slide to the next slide. So the opportunities for phase one that were really relatively straightforward to get to. And then phase two and phase three, they're a little more complicated. They're a little harder to get the bigger bang for the buck. It's just a lot of slides after a lot of slides.
Oh, and the only thing Jim, you know, I wanted to make sure that sequencing piece was in there. I think we have a pretty small window across a 12-month period of a year. Not every day in that year is gonna be the best conditions. We're doing the work at the high elevation too, so we have a pretty compressed work period. Just because of the nature of this high elevation design landscape, it's you don't get to use the whole year to do the work, unfortunately.
Do I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned, this is essentially how the work happens. You dig down, you get down to firm base, and you build back up in the layers and you know, give you some progression of how the work's been looking so far. Where, you know, the pictures from the left is really the condition we found after Hurricane Helene. Active construction, as you can see, it's just kind of various levels of just essentially building back that pancake. And then to final topping and reopening. The picture down on the right, that opened a few weeks ago south of Asheville. And then that was relatively just only maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to that. The process, once they're in there and they've excavated, it goes fairly quick and straightforward. So here's some pictures relative to Mitchell County. Well, a lot of these photographs are available on our website as well, and we'll give you some reference to that, but just to kind of give you an idea of what we're up against here. Milepost 325 to 338. It's in and around the Minerals Museum, just north of the Minerals Museum, down to just past Little Switzerland. But you can see, I mean, we all know this area was hard hit, a lot of rain. Possibly facing in the wrong direction if you're a storm and you want to cause landslides. I mean, it just, a lot of the conditions were right just to cause this kind of destruction, something that I don't think anyone could have ever foreseen. So I mentioned this before. This essentially gives you an idea of how many slides over the geography we're talking about. The color coding represents what phase we intend to do the work. Green is phase one, that's what we're wrapping up right now. The blue is, I guess that'd be gold. Phase two, that is what was awarded this summer, and they're working right now, hoping to have that ready by next fall, 2026, sometime late 2026. And then the blue, which represents our phase three, that's that final 24 miles from Route 80 to Mount Mitchell. Again, that's under design right now with hopefully contracts to go out and be awarded later this fall into winter. And again, with a timeline of late 2026 expedited.
Looking at the map there, it looks like you could drive to a little bit on north of Asheville there and you're good all the way through the remainder of the parkway there to, well, I'm thinking like the leaf lookers, or you could go north and go, if you get around the, I guess it's milepost 306 there, are you good from 306 all the way up through Boone and then it stops there at 274?
So
Is that how that, I'm reading that?
right now, yeah, I mean, from Asheville to Cherokee, from there to the Great Smoky Mountains, that reopened Friday. There was one strip section that we had left and that opened Friday, so now that's an open section. From 305 at the Lincoln, just south of Lincoln Viaduct, Grandfather Mountain, to the state line, there's two closures right now. There's an active paving project just south of Dowden Park, which we're hoping to open in the next couple of weeks. And then I don't know if you're aware of the Laurel Fork Bridge. We're actually doing a large bridge reconstruction project that's also timing out to be completed later this fall. It may not be open in time for October. We're still waiting to see if the contracts can get there, but essentially, besides those two closures, you can get to the state line.
That's great.
But a lot of it
Amazing compared to looking at those pictures and I mean, all the red tape you guys have got to go through to get money and get things done, that's pretty amazing.
And actually, the one thing I'll add, and then I'll turn it back to you, is now, in addition to the roads, we've also had some wins in just opening facilities. So right now, 6 of the 8 campgrounds are open. We announced earlier in the last month, reopening Price Park with Bay. So we are making some small improvements on sites as we can. And then, of course, the primary objective is to get access to the motor road, the Road Parkway open and accessible, and then we'll get into the rest of the areas once we get access to really get to work on those things. So
I've just got a couple more slides and then we'll wrap it up. The map that we were just looking at, we lovingly refer to it now as the bubble map. It's on our website, so you can keep an eye on that too. And then here's a few screenshots from the parks website. We are eager, and there's a QR code down there at the bottom of the screen that'll take you right to the page that looks like that. We are eager, we want to be a good partner in this region's recovery, and we know the impact is real to the tourism and the economies here. And so we're trying to call out park neighbors, and we're trying to do social media that reminds people that the experience off the parkway is as special as the experience on the parkway. And we're open to try to be creative about what some of those ideas are. There's a great toolbox of tools to help navigate the information and what's open and what's closed. And so I encourage you to explore that. A couple of weeks ago, we did a virtual briefing, and there's a recording of that. I think it was on August the 15th. We had done one earlier in the spring, and then we did one a couple of weeks ago. That's a lot of the same information that Jim and I presented this evening, but if you have other people that you think might benefit from trying to understand what happened on the parkway and where we're headed, that's a great resource. And then we're all the time trying to tweak our road status information, and hopefully that the information about what's open and closed is feeding the third-party apps that people are using to navigate to places. And so, you know, the miles that are open between Orchard and Alta Pass, who are we talking about that with? Yeah, and down to the Minerals Museum and down into Little Switzerland. That's an open section of the parkway right now, and so we want to try to do our part to try to help people understand how to get to what they can do, and they can do many things on the parkway right now. So great resources on the website. Follow us on the socials if you aren't already. We're trying to be a good voice in this overall recovery. This is the one message that we have to kind of put the hammer down a little bit. And the sections that have to remain closed, and we don't like that anything's closed, we really need the public's cooperation in respecting those closures. And so if you're out and about and hear somebody walk their dog and there's a closed section, because oftentimes there's gates and the slide may be a half a mile inside that gated area. It's not a good idea because there's heavy equipment, especially as we've started these phase 2 projects around here, and then through phase 3. Those contractors are not gonna be watching for people on their bikes or people walking their dogs, and we just really, it's not safe, just the conditions are not safe. And then you add the construction equipment, and it really needs to be considered an active work zone, and stay out. That's not a good way to end the presentation. But anyway, that's where we are. Be careful. There's lots to do on the parkway, but when we have a closed gate, that means find another place to enjoy the parkway. Is that a little better than staying? All right, so if you have time, we have time for any other questions you might have.
When I was a barefoot boy with Chickatan, I had dreams of being a park ranger.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that'd be the greatest job that God could ever have, you know, because just to be out there meeting people, be in nature. And I don't think y'all had much of a fun job this past year. So I'll stick with making IV bags, but really appreciate bringing this information. It's hard. I mean, looking at those pictures, I swear it's hard to remember if that's just been a year ago, you know, and it's all the work that's been done to get it back. I mean, that's amazing. So.
Well, but it's happening in these communities too. It's so impressive to see what these communities are bringing back within a year's time. And you know, we're glad to be on this journey with you.
Well, thanks for what you do. We appreciate it.
All right, that's my email. Anybody has any questions later, feel free to.
You know, just one statement. You've already heard my statement months ago, and you heard it spoke a little bit tonight. Anything that you could do to work with North Carolina DOT, because we realize that at Linville, you get off the parkway. And there's several ways that you can get to Asheville and get back on the parkway. It would be my hope and my request as a commissioner and as a small business owner that we get those people when they exit at Linville. We detour them through Avery, through Mitchell, and through Yates to get to Buckingham County, and let us, as elected officials and business owners, figure out how to get them in our town, because, you know, it was a huge economic blow. Spruce Pine lost 70% of retail. Basically lost 90%. Both towns have worked hard to come back.
Okay.
And we were one of the businesses that were not affected by water damage at the retail. We were at the growing operation. But even though we had product, and we were open. We had no water, no sewer, no power. You know.
Yeah.
If you had cash, we could help you out. Wait a minute, we got Starlink. But the biggest problem we had was keeping all of our plant material alive. So, and it was a huge economic blow because for our trade, the dollars that we make in October
Sure.
carries us through January and February and helps us get started up in March. And it was a real struggle this year to, put your foot forward and there's a lot of us out there
Yeah.
that need help. So anything that you could do on the federal side, and I've talked to Justin Summers repeatedly, and he's working on that to work with North Carolina DOT to get them when they get off the parkway, which is federal, and get them on the state road and get them through our counties. Would be very much appreciated. But thank you for your presentation. You've answered some good questions, and you can see it on the slide. I got to see some of it in person. And it's
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the areas we went to,
yeah,
there at, I'm drawing a
it was our
blank.
first,
Yeah.
it was our first stop, I believe.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Yeah.
all.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you.
So will you guys be coming and giving another presentation?
Well, I think we'd like to, make sure you feel like you have open lines of communications, and if you want another one, we're happy to offer it. We invited ourselves this time, but, we'll come if we've got some news to share, or you have something specific you wanna talk about. We're here, you know how to find us.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're gonna excuse ourselves. Oh, you gotta get through.
Well, at this time, since I heard something about an award, I'd like to have Mr. Brandon Pittman, if he would please come up to the podium and then present his award. I've asked county manager to do that, and gotta get your picture made.
If I can just say just a couple of words. as we
Yes,
do
sir,
this.
please.
I think it was back in March, maybe, when I came to the first commissioner's meeting as the extension director and gave you a pretty extensive update and status of extension and what we were doing. A little bit later, the opportunity to apply for this award came across my desk. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, this will be great for next year, because we should be a little bit further along in some of the things that we're doing. And then my district director said, hey, think about applying or enter Mitchell County in this. So I took that nudge from him to do this now. And I want to say I'm grateful not only with the relationship of commissioners, the county manager, and the county administration as a whole, but even interdepartment collaboration. And that's really what this is about. And it is a partnership award. What was released and was that I had drafted is Mitchell County and North Carolina Corporate Extension, Mitchell County Center have built a uniquely collaborative and impactful partnership. The county secured the former Bowman Middle School campus as Extension's new home, establishing a hub for education, entrepreneurship, agriculture, and emergency preparedness. Extension is fully integrated into county operations, with the county extension director engaged in long-term resilience planning, disaster response, and strategic efforts such as digital inclusion and wildfire mitigation. County leaders serve on extension advisory boards, volunteer in 4-H programs, and advocate for extension at the state level. In-kind support includes vehicles, facility space, and public communication platforms like We Are Mitchell podcast. This deep trusted relationship allows extension and county government to co-develop innovative, community-focused solutions, making their partnerships a model of collaboration, adaptability, and service. And for example, we have the one vehicle there's an in-county vehicle, but when I came in January, nobody said, hey, that's an in-county only vehicle. And we loaded up, drove to Greensboro, actually on my second official day of the job for state conference. And then through that, Sarah was doing some traveling with FNEP, do some regional training. And Mace called and said, Brandon, where are all these gas receipts? I said, well, Mace, we went to state conference, we've done this. She said, that car only supposed to leave the county. And from that conversation, I said, well, it was a relief. And one time when I went to a workshop in Haywood County, on the way back, it was raining and I found out there was only one windshield wiper on there. But from that conversation, it led to us having the access to a county vehicle, by being able to reach out to Deidre and schedule that if one's available. And that reduces the travel costs coming out of the university's budget, so it gives us more flexibility. Then also from that came the opportunity for a fleet management gas card to utilize for extension. And we've done it for the first time. I discovered that there's a way that we can get reimbursed from the university for that gas card. So instead of having to pay the pump price, and that's for reimbursement, for county usage of a vehicle, we can use that gas card, get that discounted rate, and then the university reimburses that. So we're running that. So, like I say, grateful for the interdepartment relationships. Alan's got the award there, and there's actually two of them. We have one in our office, and then you all get to keep one as well. And I'll say this, we got to go down to Greenville to the state association meet for the county commissioners. And you all know Gabe really well. Somehow he ends up stealing the night. They had a band from Wilmington playing after the presentation of that and the Public Service Heroes Award. And Stephen Gabe got up there and he started singing. Well, the lady that was lead singing motioned for Stephen to bring Gabe closer. And she reached the microphone down for him to sing in the microphone. And then she got his name and announced his name out to everybody. So we had a great time and a great opportunity. So thank you all for the partnership.
Bring this thing out, they just won't take a picture now,
But we get to keep that one.
this is says on here, that's what I want to say, I said, let me get my glasses on.
Turn around another way.
There we go, that helps. Says County Partnership Award presented to Mitchell County Board of Commissioners. Y'all's board have made it possible to, help us all collaborate and kind of give us the free rein and the oversight to do this. So, Brandon's working within that realm and so am I, and we appreciate y'all. So this goes to you, but, hey,
It wouldn't be possible without their support.
that's right. We got that and,
Yeah.
buddy, y'all stand around here too, and we'll get Deidre to put a picture on there now. So it's all about y'all, so make sure I got the right way of the picture too. You can hold the side of that, brother.
I'll go on the end.
Or you might as well do it. You kept us legal now.
Harley, I can't see it. There you go. Okay. Fantastic, congratulations.
And I do invite any of us anytime. I'd love to be able to talk with you some more, come over to the office, visit, share with you more details of what we're doing and what's going on with 4-H and FNL, and agriculture and family and finances.
Well, we've had one very good presentation. And by the way, folks, just to point it out, the Western District first place, Mitchell County. First place.
I will disclose there was a tie there too.
There is a tie.
Or not.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
But with Clay County, but I'll say this, I picked on, some of you know Mr. Jim Hamilton from Missouri County. He was encouraged 2 years ago to apply for this. And because no one else had applied. But then when he applied, they told me it was too late. So he submitted again this year. And no, Jim fairly well said, was that State Tree Growers Association meeting? I said, Jim, I hear third year's a charm, you know. We came in here 8 months in, we've got it, but maybe we'll talk again next year.
Okay, next on the agenda is recognition of Miss Harley Masters. And Harley has represented Mitchell County very well. At least 3 years, Harley, you've made multiple trips to Raleigh. It's been more than that.
They didn't do it my first year, it was COVID.
Okay, so Harley was recognized at the annual conference this year for her dedication as an NCACC board trustee member. Her work in that role has helped support and guide counties across the state. And Harley, we're proud of the leadership that you bring and provide on behalf of Mitchell County. So I'm gonna let Mr. Alan Cook, County Manager, read this, and then we're gonna ask you to step up front.
I don't wanna.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get your picture.
So, yeah, Commissioner Masters recently represented Mitchell County at the NCACC conference. That's the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners annual conference. At the conference, she was formally recognized for her dedicated service as an NCACC Board of Trustee member over the past year. Her work in that role has helped support and guide counties across our state, and we're proud of the leadership she continues to provide on behalf of Mitchell County. Good work, Harley, and I want to present this to you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this thing not backwards now.
It's backward.
I was working on it.
She's gotta come out
this time.
She's gotta come down in the front.
Yep, we're gonna get her down here now. Now you gotta hold this one all together now. This wasn't no partnership. This is all you.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations, Harley. Mitchell County, I think, has been very represented across the state here tonight, so. For a very small county, we've got a lot to be thankful for. So we're gonna move on to board reports, and I'm gonna start to my left with Mr. Blakens.
We go back to the 1st of August. On August 11th, I represented the board in Watauga County with the Horizon hearing on the mind, and the outcome was very satisfying to the people of Poplar, I do believe. And on August 12th, I attended the Mitchell County Animal Rescue Board meeting. They are in search now for a new director, and new search has begun for their director. Hopefully they'll have another meeting next week, so they'll have more information on that I can pass along to you guys. During that meeting, both county managers from Mitchell and Avery, Allen and Philip, were both present at the Mitchell County Animal Rescue meeting to discuss and listen to the future plans for shelter development and see where we're going to go with what grant money they have for the new shelter at this time. And that still remains I don't think they've come to a final decision yet, have they?
They're still looking at options.
Since the other meeting you went to. Of course, they did discuss some physical needs, and I will let the board be aware of that, and Alan commented on that to them. Such as a new roof. They do need some roofing materials, and Alan suggests that this be included in their budget request for the next budget year, so the county can plan accordingly to see, because we would hate for that building to go downhill at this time. Attended the town hall meeting at Bowman on August 14th. Alan did a good job, as usual, with debris removal. Quite a few questions came to him on that meeting, and I think it went very well, and there were presentations from all the emergency management people, and they even had people downloading the Mitchell Ready app. And if you haven't downloaded your Mitchell Ready app, or anybody else, you need to, because that is a very vital app for the citizens of Mitchell County. I get updates all the time on it. I don't know if you guys do, but they even had a downloading session there at the town hall meeting. August 18th and 26th, Commissioner Harding and I have been very busy with Freedom Life. We have finally finished the bylaws on those two meetings for Mitchell County. And once we take those bylaws and have them approved by the executive board, it's next week, and next week I can present to you and give you a copy of the bylaws to see where Freedom Life is going in Mitchell County. And it's, folks, I can't say enough about it. It's gonna be it's been a lot of work right now, and a lot of roadblocks we had. That's why we had to have two separate meetings beyond the first meeting that we were supposed to have. To get these bylaws going, so hopefully we'll have those. August 20th, I did attend the High Country Council of Government, Rural Transportation Committee, Advisory Committee, and Mitchell County was in the spotlight the whole entire meeting. You all will be glad to know, and I'm gonna let you take one of these and pass it down. It's all the information. I've got each one of you a packet to keep for yourselves. On the widening of Highway 226. What is happening with Highway 226 right now is David Graham has that in, and with the other agency that has it in recommendation for it to be in the STIP for state approval. So at one point in time, it was in the state transportation improvement plan. And then, of course, when they started cutting tax dollars, guess who got taken out? We did. And now he has put it back in. His passion is very, very strong to get that back in the plan. You'll also see the map. It has a map there of the improvements along with other counties. And then it has all the sidewalk dates, Harley, that you might be interested in seeing, since you put so much work into those efforts. When those are going to start, in the planning on that. And also the bridge updates from that rural transportation meeting. Mitchell County was once again in the spotlight on that with 197. They were, correct me if I'm wrong, they were working on that bridge before LA. And now the state has taken everybody back into these projects that were ongoing before the storm came, and 197 is now open in Poplar on that bridge in Mitchell County. I was so inspired on this 20th meeting with what they were promising and the hopes for Mitchell County and our highway system. I came back and talked to Alan, and so we invited David Graham down here, and he came the 29th. And Alan and I took him last Friday to show him the proposed sidewalk areas, let him look at those. We went and wanted him to see firsthand all the development that is happening on 226 that is going to affect highway traffic. And he was very amazed. He didn't know about the developments up on the top of Burleson Hill, across from the veterinary and the Methodist Church. He was amazed at all the small highway that we have with all the corridor, with all the businesses going up. And then after we took him on the tour, he also made another comment to Alan and I we were discussing when we were looking at showing him the sidewalk parts in Ledger. He said there is a study that is going to be started on 226 in Ledger with all the traffic, all the backups, the highway itself, the intersection that's causing all of the backups down beyond the Ace Hardware in the mornings and back up towards Wing Road on the other side. 226 is just not capable of handling all this field traffic or ball game traffics or anything of that sort. So there is another hopefully proposed study that is going to be starting in Ledger, which would be more highway widening on 226 as we move this way. So best thing we can do is to keep pestering our state representatives because they are the ones that we need to get on this in the project. So I must say that David Graham is very passionate about Mitchell County. Don't you think? Alan, he has put a lot of effort into our county to help us with these highways. So we should be very grateful to him. And that's all I think I have right now.
Sounds like we need to get the kids out of the bicycles when that study starts and just. How many times can you run over that, how many times can you run over that line there on the ground, you know?
That's right.
Exactly. All right, Mr. Pittman, you're up, buddy. So since our last meeting, we Mayland Community College, we met, and I'm sure you guys saw the press announcement. We have named the new president. He is the superintendent of schools, and Conover, I believe, is the where he's over at. So he's really excited about getting up here. He agreed to all the terms. His plan, he's going to be starting. I should have wrote this down. I've got it somewhere, but I think he officially starts in January, but he is basically going to be working with John a few days a week, trying to get acclimated and whatnot. And John's staying on until after the new year. So I said January, didn't I? I think September. I'm sorry, it's September is his start date. He's got a kid that's I think a junior in high school, and of course he wants his son to be able to finish school where he's always went to school. So I think he's going to have a place up here for a little while, get his son through school, and then they meet him as well to relocate here full time. So they really like the area. I apologize, I got this pulled up. I can't remember the guy's name. So just to be honest with you, but yeah, really excited to get that done. The Spruce Pine Main Street, we last met, we were planning for the Hellbender Festival. I was trying to get some notes on attendees and how well it did. We've got a meeting this coming Thursday, but to my knowledge, it was a huge success for Spruce Pine.
There's a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
I was down Saturday, and it was no parking anywhere.
I got me one of the cool shirts. I thought they had some really cool shirts down there. But it was cool to see Spruce Pine getting that life back to it, and I'm thankful the DTs got back open, and just a lot of little bits of normalcy every day. Coming back to Mitchell County. So I know it was a very big success, and they spent a lot of money to make it a success. I think that's the most they've ever spent on a festival, to my knowledge, since I've been on the Main Street board. Did a ton of advertising and different things, so it turned out well. And I believe Hefst is going to open. I want to say they were talking about that, and I think the Hefst we're trying to open this weekend. So just another business that's coming back down there. Let's see, Mayland, Main Street. I went down Thursday to the regional board for Via. Had a meeting in Burlington, and just to give you, I'm just going to read these highlights because it's just VIA is a $1.9 billion industry, in North Carolina. They employ 1,256 people, and they service 24 counties. So, and there's about three different groups, that if you don't understand what VIA does, they were put in place. There's three different groups that basically do this. Piedmont, and there's another one, I can't remember the other one, that kind of handles the eastern part of the state. This basically VIA is in charge of, as federal dollars come down to the state, they are a third party entity for, help me out here. Or you said it very well when we were talking the role of VIA.
Yes, sir. They're a local management entity. Their job is to take the federal and state Medicaid dollars. Then they allocate those out to individual providers. So they're a nonprofit middle company that doles those out to the state
Basically,
providers to provide mental health services.
For mental health services. So, and anyway, the big topic of the meeting at the regional meeting was the impact of the federal budget cuts for the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So I'm just going to read these off just so folks have got them. No new provider taxes, and reduces the 6% cap down to 3.5% for expansion states only. Impact of 22.5 billion over 10 years. State directed payments will be cut by 10% percentage points each year until they equal 100% of Medicare rates in expansion states. Eliminates the $6 billion HAS program. Adds a Medicaid expansion work requirement ages 19 through 64 that starts December 31st, 2026, with states eligible to request a 2-year delay if making a good faith effort. As many as 255,000 estimated to lose coverage in North Carolina. That's concerning. That's a big number. 6-month eligibility determinations, total loss of funding estimated at 49.9 billion over 10 years, with 70% of those cuts coming from North Carolina hospitals. So some pretty major impacts that VIA is facing coming up, and they're actively working to how to offset and make sure that these cuts don't impact folks' treatments. The summary of the DHB proposal to address state budget funding gap. So the provider rate reductions of at least 3% with 10% cuts to acute care hospitals, nursing homes, and PRTFs, and 8% cuts to ICFs and RB, BHTs, ABA therapy, which has experienced dramatic increases in utilization across North Carolina and nationwide. Ends optional coverage of GLP-1 drugs for obesity and weight loss. So that was the currently like Ozempic and the other one that Eli Lilly makes, Mounjaro. Yeah, those are currently covered. Those would not be covered going forward under this plan, and I think they're pretty expensive drugs. Somebody says like $800 a shot or something like that. Note these rates reductions will flow down to managed care plans, which means VIA's capitation rates will be adjusted downward. If enacted, VIA estimates the changes would reduce payments to providers by approximately 70 million, reduce VIA's administrative operation funding by approximately 7 million. Administrative reductions to the DHB, extends procurement for the next round of SP/TP contracts by 2 years, and confirms elimination of healthy opportunities pilot. So huge impact with all these, federal cuts. I guess that was my biggest takeaway from the meeting, and all the things they're doing to try to offset that to make sure folks don't lose coverage if needed. So I did ask Dustin. I'd like him to come here and kind of give us a county update of where everything is at. So he's our local representative with VIA, and he was more than willing to do it. So probably try to get him on the agenda for October, just so you guys can kind of hear because there's a lot of dollars that go to this entity, all tax dollars, which People like to know where it's going. I've talked a lot. I don't like to usually talk that much. Is there anywhere else I've been in the past, month? I believe that's it. I missed the I missed the one meeting, but thank goodness I've got a friend here who can give an update if there's. any new
Well, I
update.
was telling before you got here that I always like press really hard if I know that you absolutely need to be there, and I did not tell you that, so.
I did not hear anything from you,
That's
so.
absolutely right, and I also go and tell your sister that she shouldn't fuss at you because you didn't make it, because you didn't.
I appreciate
We're
it.
it was just our starting meeting for the year. I will say one thing that you all might be interested in is that Misty Silver has been chair of the Mitchell County JCPC for over 20 years. I've been secretary for longer than that. We have told the JCPC that they need to start thinking about a succession plan because we're tired. And Misty's tired, and I'm a fat old white lady and I could drop dead at any minute. So, they need to be thinking about this. And, so if you hear anybody talk, we heard people talking. And, if you have anybody in your sphere that seems to be asking questions, we would love to chat with people about what it takes, because we run a very different JCPC than most other places in the state. And the Department of Juvenile Justice thinks we run a better one than most places in the state. So, that is something to be thinking about. We need a succession plan because, this has been going on a long time. And
Y'all done a good
we
job.
need to bring some young people into the fold at this time.
Anything else? That's it. I'm gonna go next because my iPad's 9%. I wanna make sure I get that information out on one of these items. Attended ribbon cutting bag office, we should be very proud of how that facility looks. Nice operation. DT's ribbon cutting downtown. Probably 250, 300 people were there. Very nice facility. It was a very emotional day for their staff and David and Trish. And the Chamber's got a new office up on Upper Street in Spruce Pine. It's also very nice. ADC director also works out of that as a jewel. I think, Lee, you can comment on that, if you need to later. Moses has already talked about Freedom of Life. It's a great organization. It's been a lot of work, but everybody wanted to make sure they got all the bylaws and everything set in place. The 50th annual banquet for High Country Council of Government is October 10th. Just so happens that Mitchell High School has an open football date that night. High Country has encouraged everybody to come since it is the 50th anniversary this year. But one thing I wanted to mention, the High Country meeting, the High Country, Area Agency on Aging has come out through High Country Council of Government, a fall prevention program, which is huge. And this agency will come into your home. You know, somebody that is having a problem. Fall. They would come in and do a home modification project. And it's very impressive. The young lady's name is Maddie Wilson. You can contact her at mwilson at High Country Council of Government or hccog.org. And what this boils down to, guys, this program provides a free home safety assessment. All clients. Funding for eligible home modification deemed necessary in the home's safety report. The staff will follow up and see the resources that are needed. Individuals that are 60 years and older are included in this. If your home is located in Allegheny, Ash, Avery, Mitchell, Wilkes, Watauga, or Yancey, can apply. And if the individual has not participated in the last 12 months in, evidence-based fall prevention, and that's why I wanted to read this before, because I think this is something huge for our community. I wanted to get it out, so people could hear that. If you know of anyone that's having trouble, then the only thing you have to do is contact this Patty Wilson at High Country Council of Government. She'll get all the information. And they will come down and do a free assessment, see, we may need to move the weight of furniture or the dining room table. The bed may be too close to the wall, the bed may be too high, just a lot of different things, and it's a free service, so. Take advantage of it, it's another good thing that's happening for our elderly in this area. And that's all I've got. Mr. Ellis.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll update y'all on the chamber, a little bit on the chamber, EDC and the rec department. Jeff mentioned that there is a new Chamber of Commerce office on Upper Street that looks really nice, a good look for the community and for the chamber too. The Chamber of Commerce and the EDC are working really closely together in a good way. A lot of good synergy there. They have had multiple joint meetings with Walmart and their management team. I'm meeting with Jim Construction that's doing the work on Burleson Hill, North Carolina growth, and also the railroad. We've been a part of the ribbon cuttings that Jeff mentioned, and they have a business prayer breakfast planned for October 10th at Stretch Creek Golf Course at 8:00 a.m. And then for the rec department has their fall sports is in full gear. They have 28 teams this year in fall sports. Some changes to the conference. Madison dropped out for some reason. They picked up a game with Avery County and are working with Avery to maybe replace Madison County next year. The building, the new rec center is looking really good inside and out both. And I think they're hoping for a grand opener of a ribbon cutting sometime in October. This weekend will be the first weekend for rec games. We've been practicing for a few weeks now. They'll have recreation games going on this weekend, and Brock and Ryan and Emma have been asked to come to App State and present a recreation management class to a group up there on September the 11th. I'm proud for them for that as well. That's good, Jeff.
Ms. Masters.
Let's see here. I'll start with my most recent meeting was last Thursday. We went to the library board and we met in Spruce Pine. And all the librarians gave a PowerPoint presentation of the programs and everything they've got going on. And so I've asked the interim director and the store send those to me so that I can get them consolidated and put into the minutes. I do plan to send all the approved minutes, once they're approved, to the county manager, Alan, and of Avery County, just so that if anybody on the commission board has any questions, you'll kind of know what's going on. If anybody on this board would like those as well, just shoot me a text and let me know, and I'll get you put on the sunshine list, and so we'll make sure those get sent out to you. There were some discussions about a new office location. So if you know of anywhere in Spruce Pine, that was kind of the decision that everybody made. It's kind of more central for Avery County, Bakersfield, and Spruce Pine. So they are looking for office space. If you know anywhere, please let them know. And they did have some questions as to how they were going to fund that. And so we will see what comes from that. I don't know. They are planning to go ahead and advertise the director position as well. And then I know before the meeting, Dale, you had mentioned it, that Michelle, her name's Michelle. Yeah, she's moving, and so her position also will be posted. So she has like 2 more weeks, I think. So that one's in the first time library. So that was, any questions about the library, just let me know. TDA, we met on the 19th, and then the big thing coming out of that meeting is Destination by Design. Their team and then the TDA have released the name of the community action plan, and it's called Elevate Mitchell. And so there will be more to come on that. There is a meeting this coming Thursday with a focus group in community, with community development players, EDC, outdoor recreation, arts and culture. Alan, I believe you also were invited to that maybe. So once that meeting happens, very quickly after that, there's going to be a community survey. And Kelly wanted to notate that it is very, very, very important for all the citizens and locals to voice their opinion in this community action plan. So once that is released, I'll make sure all of you guys have it so you can help me share it. And then I didn't really have an extension update. So Brandon, you did a good job earlier. And then, so my last update is going to be from the annual conference for the NCACC. So I was able to attend again for the annual conference, and I had the opportunity to meet with some new people. Got some really good ideas from some people in Burke County. And one thing that came out of their Board of Trustees meeting was we did have discussions with the North Carolina auditor. And so there was lots of discussions from all the trustees about the DMV office. So it's not just here. But he did throw around some ideas that they're working with, like on a state level, on possibly the people that are teaching the kids to drive, being able to somehow certify them so that they could also let them do the driving test, which I think would be really, I mean, it's a common sense approach, because if you have 15 people out there at the DMV office and 3 of them have to do driving tests, it takes a long time. So lots of discussions about that. So it was a little optimistic. It's not just our DMV office. It is lots of DMV offices across the state, all the way to the coast. But good stuff coming out of there. And he was very open about being transparent. And if any counties had any questions or concerns or wanted to know what his office did, then to please reach out. And let's see here. As far as the sessions, I attended some regarding understanding the reappraisal process, because that is something that I think is going to be very interesting on our next reappraisal. Strategic fire service, supporting employees' success. And then one session that was labeled, "You Make Me Want to Shout." And I will note that there was Braxton Eggers in there, Todd McNeil, Dennis Aldridge. So basically all the people from the high country were in that one. So I thought that was a little bit funny. But I think it was all of us from management. Just kept getting more tickled as everybody started walking in. And then there is, Alan, if you could pull it up. So the NCACC has started a So the NCACC started making a video movie production, and that's way for counties to tell their stories. And so this year it was a no-brainer that they wanted to do one about Helene. And so this one is it's called Rising Above Helene. And so once you're good. So they will give us the opportunity to show that here in Mitchell County if we would like to do so. I believe their first showing is going to be later this month, and it's in Raleigh, and it's at an IMAX theater. So I don't know that we'll be showing it at the IMAX theater, but we may decide, if this board chooses to do so, to display it up at maybe the courthouse or something. But I will say that this was really it was tough to watch, and so this just is a 3-minute preview. I think the whole movie is about an hour, 45 minutes. Lots of emotions. For me personally, and I want to say, like, whenever they first interviewed me, it was very shortly after the storm, and it was tough. So you'll see lots of raw emotions in there. But Alan, if it's appropriate, we can maybe just watch the trailer.
Everything moved. The power of the water was more than we could have ever imagined.
the scale and the scope of what happened really is beyond anything that we could have prepared for. Story of generosity is the story I want to tell because I've seen so many people just sacrificially give. Just so proud of my community, the way that everybody's rallied around each other and lifted each other up and loved each other. Yeah, an incredible time to eat.
The amount of volunteers that have come out of the woodworks to help Mitchell County, I can never say thank you enough.
Everybody was giving so much.
We had people coming from all across the country.
Our goal is not to be back to normal, but to be better than normal.
You know, you try to find a silver lining in every dark cloud. That was about as dark a cloud as this county has seen.
I am back open and operational. I have all the existing staff here, so no one lost their jobs. Everyone's back working, which is fantastic, and I consider that a huge win.
Proud of the guys, how they responded, how they took care of their recruitings, and how they took care of themselves.
It's not as if not as if Helene hit us in just one way, or even just impacted one community.
People need to understand that we were hit really bad, and we're just not part of some 24-hour news cycle.
For a lot of people, this will be their seminal moment in time. You know, everything will relate to before Helene and after Helene.
So they've done a really good job, with that, so if we choose to do so, we can watch it, you can watch it at home, you can watch it together, I don't know, it's something that the long-term recovery group might want to offer showing or something,
You know when it's gonna be released or?
we can get it to you ASAP, so. But then also correlating with that, I had the opportunity to sit on a discussion panel with Will Ray, the Director of Emergency Management of the state, and we talked about lessons learned on the front lines. And so it's really eye-opening for me because I don't know that I would volunteer to be a commissioner if I lived where hurricanes happened all the time. My hat's off to them because it's we've been through it, but they go through it like every year. So lots of good stuff. And I just want to say that I appreciate this board. I know this whole past year has not been very easy. And Steve, I think you've said it before, like we were up here and we have so many good things going on, but we're gonna recover. It's just elevate.
We're getting back.
We are slowly. We just
We're
get
climbing
the
back at last.
ribbon cuttings for the sheriff's office stuff.
That's right.
So I think that's all I got.
I just want to say too, Jeff, I did, Dr. Aaron Gabriel, so I apologize if he's watching this, I couldn't remember it. Should wrote it down, I didn't have it written down, so I was, trying to go, so just want to make sure we say who the new president's gonna be. All right. You get what you Things on the road in that breath. You had a lot of thinking to do, like you sitting in track. That's right. At least I made it to the meeting this time, but it's, my last effort was not so good, I missed the commissioner meeting the last time too, but. And we set it for 8 o'clock AM. Because of me, that's the whole Well, that's the bad about it. I'm like, my God, we're too much going on in the world. Appreciate y'all. Okay, let's move this train on, try to get out here before midnight. Well, items for discussion. 12A, public transportation program resolution.
I don't want to go next after all that. It's been a emotional meeting. Brandon, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you, Sue.
And when you're taking a big group, don't forget about us.
We
We have an agreement.
you like you all for.
Yeah, you need to, come and join our training and you could drive the van in and take the kids. Yeah, so that's my way to tell you that. So proud of it. So this, we had a public hearing and this is on my FY 27 grants that I have to have submitted by October the 4th, I believe it is. So tonight you are voting to approve the local match. I want to make sure, you know, we're clear on what's happening. But you're voting to approve your local match. And so for our admin grant, we are approved. They give me that amount. I get a fixed amount that I can apply for in the admin, and that's 157,027. So that one has a 15% local match. The state puts in 5%, federal government's 80, and Suffolk County has 15 on that one, and that one's mostly mine and my administrative assistant's salaries, insurance, Or your benefits.
yeah, and benefits. So that's what that grant is. Our capital grant, is, again, it was a big one for FY 26, it's a big one for FY 27, because, we had a really aging fleet going in when Helene happened. Then, as y'all know, we lost 5 vehicles, and so we still are trying to recoup those vehicles, and I've had to keep old ones in the fleet. Everything we have on the road, with the exceptions of 2 new transits, and if you all are on Facebook and see our Facebook page, I hope you saw our 2 new transits. I took them up to the courthouse and took their pictures, and they're all pretty. But we've got those on the road last week. We got a new minivan with a ramp, that was a Helene replacement for one that was flooded, and it found a deer 7,000 miles into its new journey, and so it's in the body shop right now. And then today we got delivered an all-wheel drive minivan, which will be our long distance vehicle to Duke and things. But our capital budget is 437,017, and there's a 10% local match on that. There's 370,000 of that money is replacement vehicles. We will be getting 1 new transit in the FY 27 grant, and we will get 2 22-foot LTVs, which is 260,000. I've got $60,000 worth of furniture in there. I'm trying to think ahead. Don't know when the new facility will actually be moving in and taking place, but if it was sometime within that FY 27 grant, then I've got $60,000 in there that will not have to come out of our building budget for quite a bit of furniture for that. If it doesn't happen in the FY 27, then I'll put it in the FY 28 grant. Even if we're allocated, that doesn't mean we have to spend that. I'm just trying to think ahead and think of what we might need in that new building. And that has state funding in that at 10%. Our new facility is 8% federal, 20% local. So there is no state money. So I'm trying to get some money out of state. So that's why that number is so big, is the office furniture and then just some baseline technology. Any questions?
If not, I will take a motion for the transportation program resolution.
And the resolution is giving me permission to apply for the grants, and we have to do that one every 5 years.
So.
I'll make the motion. Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Harley. All in favor?
And then you need to do your local match.
Yeah.
Provide the local match.
Had that written down. Thank you. I need a motion to, for the local match. Make a motion that we provide the local match. Second. All in favor? It passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Matt. You. Okay, I guess this one is yours, our BLTRG lease agreement for the use of funds.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So, the middle school has been housing our long-term disaster recovery or resilience groups, headquarters to do operations, to coordinate volunteer services and match clients with, needs in the county. So they have been free of charge, working out of that till their nonprofit was built and set up. And now they're nonprofit, they're their own entity. So we're kind of building the legal framework to keep everything situated. So we would have the LTRGs, nonprofit lease to the county for some space with, I think I was talking before about maybe having a 60-day notice for either side to move in case we have a building. But it just kind of gets our liability and our risk down a little bit. I would need a resolution to pass to allow for the LTRG to have a lease in Bowman, and then for it to be pending on legal review, because I think Forrest's working on that and drafting that.
Yes, sir, I've got a draft and probably walked out the door without it this morning.
Yes, I remember you telling me that you had that one drafted and was gonna get it to us, so. It would basically be a standard lease agreement with some of those terms that we said. Anything you want to speak to on that board?
Yes, sir, it'd be to allow the manager to sign a lease. Technically, under the statute, the manager can lease space for up to a year. However, Mr. Cook wants to make sure that the commissioners are on board with that, so we can prepare an agreement, make it where it can be terminated on 60 days notice if you need the space or just wish to go in a different direction.
So we just need a motion to move forward for that.
Any questions from the board? Do I have a motion for the lease agreement for the use of Bowman?
I'll make the motion for the lease agreement in Bowman.
Thank you, Bill. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Harley. All in favor? Passes. 12C, state cash flow loan agreement number 3. Ms. Mavis.
Get to be like a broken record. We finally got the, North Carolina round 3 cash flow loans. We got 2.7 million this time. So the first thing I need you to approve is the agreement. This one, you can look at the terms, it's just like the other 2. In 1 year, we'll have $1 payment. And then each year thereafter, it's a percentage, it starts out at 10% for a 5-year period of time. And we will use this one the same way you used the first 2. It would be to continue to make payments on their debris until FEMA decides to pay it back. It's not buying anything fun, it's just paying the debris bills.
Be nice to get us a recycler, baler with it, or something cool like that, I just think.
So I need you to approve the agreement first.
Do I have a motion for the cash flow loan agreement number 3?
So moved.
Mr. Harley, second. Second. Steve, all in favor? And then the next one is the cash flow third round loan ordinance.
So each time we get a pot of money, we have to put it in our budget. And that means we have to do an ordinance, because when we passed our budget ordinance this year, we didn't have this, so. And it will be set in a separate fund to be accounted for each 1, 2, and 3 cash flow loans that have their own funds. So the second thing I need you to approve is the ordinance, so I can put it in the budget.
Okay, do I have a motion to pass, cash flow third round loan forwards?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor? And 12E, 25-26 budget amendment number 1.
Where's this budget amendment? Because I had to do it for the cash flow number 3. I also went ahead in the general fund and recognized just a little bit of money that's come in since the budget. Mostly grants. We've gotten a couple of grants, the Forest Service grant. We also got a grant that's been approved for the sheriff's department to buy some new radios. Also, we're finally not dropped yet, but I'm hoping it'll come this week. We got approved for our overtime funds from last October from the storm. So that's some additional revenue. What little bit we've got, I just wanted to go ahead and clean it up so we can stay clean as it's coming in. And then, of course, Fund 26 is in here for the cash flow loan. So I can, once the money comes in, which again will be later this week or the first of next week, I can go ahead and start spending that to pay some debris bills. It will not pay all of them, but we'll make another payment on them.
I guess what, the North Carolina Governor's Commission grant, what is that one?
That's the COPS grant that the sheriff's getting for some radios. Yeah, we've got the approval on it. We don't have, everything's not finished on it, but we got the approval. That's the one that High Country wrote for the sheriff's department for me.
How many radios was they able to give us?
I don't know how many they're gonna get. They asked for 50,000, they only got 46, so they've got to go out and get a new cost on those.
Yeah,
I don't know how many
That's
they
good.
get.
they're expensive, so that's good.
I know they're expensive, they're about 5,000 a piece.
It's hard to believe.
They're
It's fast,
expensive.
it's not many radios.
No, but
Okay, we have a motion for 25-26 budget amendment number 1.
So moved.
Thank you, Harley, second. Thank you. All in favor?
thank you.
Thank you, Mavis. Let you handle this, and that's the parking lot design.
Yes, so part of the rec center build out and the restructuring we're doing here in the parking lot with this project is eliminating some of the grassy areas in our parking spaces out here in order to get transportation moving, as in vehicles moving when they're accessing our rec center. There's some elevation changes, so we are needing to get a civil engineer to do traffic flow, interactions of water and how drainage goes through our parking lot. And eventually this will also be going into getting bids and estimates on paving this parking lot. So it's one of the steps that's going to be required to kind of get this thing, even the striping and how that layout's going will be part of this parking lot design and civil engineer contract. It's about 10,000. Well, it's not to exceed $10,000, and it'll be an actual cost up to $10,000 by the civil engineering firm. Used to be it's a spinoff from Withers Ravenel, so they've kind of been working some of that, and they have a civil engineer that hopefully will get that done within a month of us signing.
The grassy area out here, not out here, right?
Yeah, the grassy area that's just kind of above the parking area by the office, there's a little L-shaped area that we're trying to get out of the way. And then when we are working with this building to convert it into a concession stand, there'll be some concrete bases where these foundations used to be, and we got to make sure we're interacting over that where we're doing the remodel of the area where transportation, sheriffs, and tax used to be. We're looking to interact that through the parking lot.
Mr. Chair, do you anticipate this being potentially FEMA reimbursable?
No,
Okay.
this is a skip grant that we're running on this very good.
Any questions? To have a motion for Michigan County parking lot design, the civil engineer contract.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Steve, all in favor? And the last item is surplus Grand Caravan 2018.
Talk to Sheila about that, and basically what we got is transmission out in one of our older Grand Caravans 2018 model. The value of it versus the repair of it is not worth the cost, and so we're wanting to surplus that and then put it up for bid with a minimum bid starting at $1,500 to move that on out. So we would be getting a resolute or a vote from the board to move that towards surplus, and then allow for us to put that out for bid.
Okay, we'll have a motion to surplus this 2018 Grand Caravan van. Motion to surplus the caravan. Second. All in favor? Then we move on to consent agenda. I have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Finance officers report.
In your mailbox, if you didn't pick it up when you came in, if you get your monthly report through August 31st. I do want to highlight again. Look at your revenues year to date and look at your expenses year to date. I would be remiss if I did not caution every expenditure decision right now. Outside of grant money that we've got, we do need to be very cautious. We've got some very critical things coming up. One being the EMS program we're trying to get kicked off, and there's some upfront costs that we're having to incur with software, with getting everything set up. And so I think that is the priority right now. So I'm saying that, so if a department has been told no by the finance department, please understand there's a reason they've been told no. If we can put it off, I'm asking those things be put off. So please understand. We are, I mean,
I think in order to fund any money, Mavis, it has to come from this building with an agreement between HR, county manager, and especially finance. If we don't get the blessing of you guys.
I'm just
I think
saying.
we're taking this very serious because we realize that it's
We have to fund a lot of things to get reimbursed, and you have to pay it to get reimbursed, but that reimbursement takes a while.
it's slow with it.
It's very slow. So I just want to continue to caution you that we're not out of the woods yet. We're hoping maybe Thursday, tax bills may go out. I've been told maybe Thursday. So, I have finished, and I don't remember what I told you last month, if I told you this or not, but our $5 million loan request is being currently reviewed by FEMA. There's a department that does that. His name is Carl, and as of last week, he was reviewing everything, even to the point that he sent me the authorization to like put Alan's name on it and my name on it, as we would be the contacts. So I feel confident that if he had seen something in his first day or two of reviewing it, and it takes a while to review it, it's very complicated. He would have mentioned that or not sent me the contact information. But from there, it's got to go, once they approve it, then and we sign everything with them, it's got to go to the LGC. So we're still a few months out from actually realizing that money, but when we get that money again, that has to continue to pay debris bills. So it's not money that I can just put into general operating. We've got to finish paying all of our debris bills. And we've probably got about 10 million right now, close to 9 to 10 million that's still not been paid, so we will have to continue to pay those. And the other thing is that $5 million is gonna help us on the back end when FEMA does pay and the state holds the 25%. That 5 million and those cash flow loans are gonna help us get through that 25% period, which will be several years. And I don't wanna be negative, I'm not being negative, I'm being realistic.
Well, it's factual. Yes.
So I just want you to all be cautious that, you know, we're still in this window. And I'll let you know when it's a little easier to breathe, but we've got a lot going on and it's taken a lot of money. I don't think in my career I've ever seen at this 2 months in that we've spent as much as we have and taken in as little as we have. So it's a little worrisome. Any questions?
Oh, it's chicken again. Going out pretty quick, even a whole lot coming in.
We're just in that time.
Didn't work out very good. Mr. Allen, county manager report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jared. So, we'll start with debris as always. It's gonna be so nice to come to the day when I don't start the county manager report with debris. Maybe this time next year I can say, no more debris. So, as we start with debris, right away debris, there's a punch list online. So if you have debris, if you see debris that's on the roadside, you go on the Mitchell County webpage, the Helene Resources, and it's got a place where you can do a little entering in the address, maybe your phone number if it's in your yard or something, or near your driveway. Granted, this is right away debris, it's, you know, near the state road within 20 to 25 feet. You can put that in and that will go to the debris company. They'll have it. It'll be a punch list that, you know, hey, it's on record that there is debris here. So roadside debris, punch list. Okay, they're still running roadside debris. There's a lot of it out. We're still kind of putting it on the radar when we see it. So I invite all citizens. You got roadside debris, we got a place on the website where you can report it and it goes right into the debris contractor's emails. So it's on the record. That is moving. We're moving good on our roadside debris. We are finally moving the private property debris registrations once again. They kicked back together and everything started clicking between the state and the HGA entry forms that the county was doing. So now if you call the debris number that's been posted on our website to sign up for private property debris removal, it will now get you to start being registered and going through that process. Now, on private property debris removal, I don't want to get nobody's hopes up. It's got to be pre-approved by FEMA. And have you tried anything in your own life getting pre-approved by FEMA? I will say no more. It's FEMA says it's good, then you get your debris removed. FEMA's got heartburn with it, then it may not get removed. So it'll depend on its risk factor. I've been lobbying the state, and the state says they are lobbying FEMA on, you know, saying, hey, we have high fire risk in Mitchell County. So if we have wind and a drought and sparks are showering from a mile jump at a time, then every bit of debris in someone's yard is a health and safety risk. Every bit of debris along a driveway that prevents fire truck access is a safety risk. So that's going to be the grounds of the battle with FEMA is it health and safety risk? And I'm saying, hey, in Mitchell County, we are the highest fire risk. It is a health and safety risk. Please lobby for us. So we're pushing that. The state said they're pushing it, so that's moving. How soon will it be before we see the first private property debris removal truck come in a yard and start removing debris out of people's yards? My guess, maybe the end of this month. So if FEMA gets a batch of, let's say, 100 packets, and they approve 75 of them, then that means we got 75 houses that will start seeing some debris get moved out of their yards finally. So that program's moving forward. It's the SMART program. The state is doing it. We're also have been told tentatively that we are going to get the stream silt debris removed out of Cane Creek here in Bakersfield. So the next step is coordinating it with the state debris removal folks, but FEMA is saying, yeah, we work with your state folks on that and put us all together. So that's on the list this week. I got a debris meeting tomorrow. We'll see how that's going and what the discussion is on getting that Cane Creek debris removed. We are actively in the process of looking for EMS director. We've had that job posted and reposted, and we're doing interviews. We're evaluating, and hopefully we'll have something moving on our EMS director and be on that list to maybe start services about December 1st with a county-run EMS system. As Mavis said, that's going to be a heavy financial lift. We have the funds, but we want to manage the funds really tightly. You know, if we can reel in just little bits here and there, it's going to be a lot better for us as we move through this winter. Every time we get through a month, even a month delay on something makes a big difference. A month delay to get to October means maybe we dodge storms and hurricanes. You know, a month to get through December means maybe there's some snowstorms, and if we reel in 6 months of budget or a fourth of the budget, we're saving a little bit. Now, are we bad off to the point that, you know, employees are worried about getting paid? No, we're nowhere near that, and that's why we're nowhere near that. It's because we're looking at all things and projecting way out for worst case scenarios on budgeting. So me and Mavis, don't be scared that nobody's going to get paid. We've got that covered. We're trying to say we've got a lot of ambitions to run and grow some really good programs for citizens, and we want to make sure we got enough funds to make them successful. And sometimes on a new startup of a business, and that's basically what it is, to do it right, there's going to be some cost involved. So we want to do them right. FEMA said no to our chop and drop program. We pushed hard for chop and drop. We told them, you know, hey, give us the ability to run out and go into high risk areas, cut trees with a chainsaw crew and lay them on the ground. You've done this in some Western theaters and Western state projects. We want one out east. And they said, well, I don't think we'll be able to do that, Alan. And I said, well, when this place burns, I want you to tell it to me in writing. So sure enough, they sent me a letter in writing and say, we're not going to do your chopping drop. So when I go on Fox News, I'm going to say, well, we wanted some help, and here's the FEMA refusal letter. So they told us to check with the state on chop and drop. So I will check with the state on chop and drop. But it's a really cheap fire mitigation tactic that can take that fuel off the ground and put it up. Well, it'll put it in dirt contact where water gets in it, and instead of it laying out there for 15 years to get seasoned and really flame off, in 3 years of rain soaking into it, it rots. So we're still trying that one, but FEMA said no to it. FEMA also has given us probably not, helping us out with some Bowman office space to work with our relocated offices here. So we're getting those from FEMA, and hey, we're trying. There is a grant fund. I was at a managers meeting at High Country on Wednesday last week, and there will be a state grant program for counties that if FEMA did not deem it eligible, you can apply for this state grant. Not many details on it, but it's coming down the pipe in about a month, so we're going to kind of see what that is. I got several projects that I would really like to say that FEMA did not get. FEMA did not get our emergency management and our maintenance building. They deemed a lot of these projects, since they were rent buildings, you know, something that they couldn't get. Our insurance is covering some of it to some degree. FEMA didn't get it. So with our transportation, one of the things I'd like to do is that $1 million grant on that $5 million federal 80-20 match deal. We have 1 million. I'm wanting to ask, since that was flood damaged, for some of these grant windows to maybe give us that 1 million, or the state to give us that 1 million, since it was flood destroyed property and we're not really asking for nothing off of it. So we're doing a lot, sometimes the better use of our time is to chase grants than to chase FEMA. And that's sad. I'd like to see FEMA help us out a little bit more, but they're doing what their regulations say to do, so I won't, go too bad on them. I understand there's certain things that they can't do. Bridges and private roads, something that citizens need to know is on the internet, and it's on the county website, Helene page. There is a 50% reimbursement for folks that did not get FEMA help and went ahead and paid for their private road and bridge if it was destroyed by the storm. So there's a qualification, an application to do for it, but it's under North Carolina private roads and bridges. It's a set amount of money, and it's first come, first served for these citizens, and that it's gonna get hit hard. So I'm trying to push that out on our public information side of things to get out there. If you ended up not getting FEMA help on your road or your bridge and you put it back together, there's a chance. I'm not saying a guarantee. You heard me as the county talking about FEMA don't give us money sometimes. I'm saying there's a chance you might can get 50% back. So look at that. Keep your receipts, have your invoices, and think about that as a citizen. So the rec center grand opening October 6th. I think we're shooting for 4 p.m. That is the evening before a commission meeting, the October commission meeting. So they're gonna have catered food out here for us to all eat. So come out for all the commissioners, get you some barbecue. They got a construction timeline video where it'll show the whole thing coming up out of the ground. Got a lot of thanking to do on that. So that was coming up. The law enforcement center has been one of them ones that I've got a punch list on, and when they finish my punch list, then I will pay them the rest of their money, which is a pretty good amount holding out. But I'm needing about a few final things, and we're very close. It's very possible around November 1st I could have you a law enforcement center open house. So keep that in the back of your mind. So on the anniversary of Helene 9/27, which is a Saturday, there is a lot of things going on in the community. So as a county, on September 26th, the Friday at noon, I'm wanting to do a remembrance service at the new courthouse hill up here by the flags. If you remember, during the first month of Helene, we did a raise the flag Mitchell County ceremony. Well, at 12 noon on 9/26. I would like to, anyone who wants to come would come out. We would raise the flag once again over Mitchell County, reflect and remember, and have a prayer, have a few speakers, and just, look back and be thankful for the good things and remember those things that might have impacted us along the way. So definitely want folks to keep that on their radar. And so I think that's got everything checked off on the county manager, unless the board has any questions.
So if you've signed up for private property debris removal, do you have to sign up again? Because that's a question that I've been asking.
If you have not signed up in the last month.
So you need to re-sign.
So if you have not signed up
Since July 13th.
since July 13th, when the SMART program took it over, then you will need to sign up. If most people signed up in the months of March, April, May, and if you sign up during those, go ahead and call that number. They gotta get a few more items from
I was trying to figure out if I need to task my husband with this or not.
Tell your husband to go ahead and call that number. Call that number on the line, make sure. If you're when in doubt, give that hotline a call. It's on our website. Go to Helene Resources. Call that number, make sure you're set.
Do we have any board comment?
I have one word comment, not anything county related, but it's the day after the Helene Remembrance on the 27th. If you wanna come make apple butter behind the shop, it's free, and we're having soup and hot dogs, and you can just come hang out and make apple butter, so.
That's not your shop?
Yeah,
Okay. What time's it start?
You don't even have to peel apples. I'm doing that the day before, so I can go up about 8 o'clock. Just stir apple powder.
You got fresh biscuits?
If you come, I'll make biscuits.
Anybody else?
Let's say, just tonight, just listening to we're very lucky, the directors we got in this county, I think that, I think we've heard shining examples of what you should be as a director. I mean, you know, we heard Sheila stand here, talking about the money that she's went and found. I mean, Brockett's, I'm telling you know, all the different stuff that he's had brought into the rec department. You know, Kathy out at the center, I mean, I mean, every department head in this county, and I've left out a lot of names there, I'm just saying, we're very lucky that they don't just sit on their butt and say, well, I'm the captain, so here we go. They're actively working.
We've gotten a lot of grants and a
Yes.
lot of donations. And those funds are restricted for what they were given for, so that's not, you know, part of. You know, those funds have all been restricted and they are there and will be used for the purposes they were made meant for. And you are correct, we've gotten a lot,
Yeah, and just, you know, thank you to all those guys for what they do, because it don't say that in your job description, if you go in there and look, you know, this is some of the things you're gonna be doing, so.
I don't think any of us could count. Yeah, the amounts of appalling. I actually do have it. On a spreadsheet.
If you need to see that, hey, find it.
That I had to give for the loan for 5 million. I have to identify every penny, the last 3 years, current year, and the next 3 years. How, what was reoccurring, where did it come from, where is it going, is it restricted, why is it restricted? Show me a piece of paper saying it's restricted. So, I can probably give you that, Steve.
Yeah, that. Count it.
David? Lee? The only thing I'll mention is, I'd like for this board. It, probably in the near future, get back on our opioid discussion and. You know, it's been a year. We were on task, storm hit. And I think we need to revisit that and start that process again. And we'll now entertain a motion to go into closed session. Of the general statute 143, 318, 11, A3, attorney-client privilege, and also A6 personnel. So do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?